Okay, so this is the second part of my editing video, and we're talking about how I process a street photography shoot. In the first part, I looked at picking my pics to work on. So I basically went through how I selected certain images and why I liked them. And in this part, I'm going to talk about editing the images in the develop module. So I'll talk about how I actually process the images, and I'll be using some presets and so on and so forth. So if you haven't seen the first part, you'll find it here on the channel. And okay, so I hope you find this interesting, and let's get to it. I generally edit somewhat free-form. Some people are very rigid with their editing techniques. I just like to go through things, and sometimes I'll pick an image and I'll go back to a different image and so on and so forth. But I'm just going to go through these kind of, I'll try and go through them in a reasonable order. And usually what I'll do then is I'll go back and I will use the pick flag to decide then the ones I'm selecting for my final output. And I do that kind of either sometimes as I'm editing them I'll go, yes, I definitely want this one, or sometimes I'll just go back to it afterwards. But for the moment I'm just going to go through and we'll go into the develop module and see what we need to do. In some cases I'm not going to do a lot to these because they're actually pretty good straight out of the camera. In some cases it just needs a bit of straightening. So I'm just going to straighten this. I'm using the RAFs with these for the moment. When I'm finished, if I like any of them, I might send them to X Transformer just to kind of take the Lightroomness off them. I like this style sometimes where you have very dark shadows, and then other times I like it when you bring the shadows up a bit. So before, after, you know what? Some of these, it's actually pretty good the way they are, so I'm just going to undo this and back the way it was. And maybe if anything, I'm just going to bring the blacks down. Bring the vignette in a bit on this, just so we're focusing the attention in. I could also look at using some presets, so I've got the VSCO here, various of my own. We don't want that. Let's see, Fuji. Okay, so I could do something like, there's Agfa Vista, my current favourite film. Actually, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. I kind of like that. I might actually go with this. This is actually quite nice. I think the grain down a bit. We don't too filmy, but that's actually really nice. Okay, so I'm going to copy out everything there. Let's see if we paste this. Yeah, I really like that. That's really nice. Okay. Let me paste this again. Okay, now we're getting a bit too far. That trick only works sometimes. I don't want to lose the reds because there's nice reds here, so just undo it. Let's try a different film. Yeah, that's quite nice. Just a little bit of vignette. I find a lot of time when I'm editing, I end up experimenting a lot, and I might start off with one look in mind and then end up with something else completely different, and I end up going back. And sometimes I'll go through a shoot a couple of times. I kind of have different things that I like at different times, and I kind of like where this is going though. I do think this is I've got a nice look going here, so we're going to stick with it. And the other side of it as well is you want to kind of create a consistent look across this, because I'm going to use these as one of my street photo diary series shots. So what I'm doing here is I'm basically hitting previous, copying it over from the previous one, and then I'm just tweaking the exposure because it's slightly different on each of them. So again, we want this sequence to be fairly consistent. And I think it's looking good. I like the look we've got going on here. setting the blacks up quite high on this, so I'm just tweaking that. There's before and after. It's just making it that little bit more filmy. I think the grain's a bit excessive, so turn that down a bit. Careful I don't tweak the reds too much. That's not bad. And we can take our exposure back down a bit. Okay. I'm just going to try cropping in on this slightly just to see if we can make the people a bit bigger. Yeah, that's better. And I'll just do a bit of a vignette as well. Yeah, I like that. And we'll do a previous on that. Yeah, it's good. I don't mind that we've cropped in a bit. And let's see. We'll stick with our 400 for the moment. Okay. This is a tricky one. So I'm going to do a gradient on this. Bring up the shadows. We don't want to bring it up too much, but we'd like to see something of the guy's face. And maybe I can just paint it on a bit as well. Again, I have to be careful. Yeah, overdo any of these things and they start to look a bit fake. Okay, so for this shot, we might need to do a bit of tweaking. So again, I'm going to go back to our Agfa 400 because I like this. It's a bit maybe overly filmy. Maybe I'll try the Portal 160. Yeah, let's actually Google this. This is actually better. And it's reasonably in keeping. I think they'll still work as a set. So if I just bring the highlights up, actually kind of works. Again, we might need to just paint a bit on here as well. And bring the shadows up. Okay, I think that's going to work. And then just a bit of a vignette to bring that back in. I think that works. Just tweak, a bit more tweaking. Okay, I'm happy with that. This shot, I'm not sure we can do anything with this. So. But again. This is one of those things I might come back to later. I'm not sure there's really any point in giving this. It's not a particularly brilliant shot. I just kind of like the smoke going on and the colour and the texture here. But I don't think there's anything I could do to it. We'll come back to it at some other point. And okay. So I'm just going to go through the rest of these fairly quickly now, and I'm not going to talk too much. So I might do a time lapse on them, and then any that's kind of particular interest, we will talk about it.
So many years, too many tears on your pillow, on your pillow. Out of the darkness, a sound. It all seems so harmless. A silver light. Don't you wait until the morning light, the morning light. Far away until you're out of sight, you're out of sight.
I like the really strong colours we've got going on here. Like that. Having said that, we kind of want it not to stand out too much either, so let me just see. Yeah, see, any of the film presets are kind of ruining it. I'm going to leave them for the moment. In some of these shots I'm going to try and what I'm trying to do is emphasize the shadows a bit more. Without losing too much of the foreground detail either. Again, you want to be careful with clarity as well. Sometimes it's very easy to overdo that. Well, there's a pity that guy's in the background, but anyway, I could crop in a bit. I don't think I'll be able to crop him out though. Maybe I will. No. Either in the shot, it needs to space overhead. I mean, the composition's not great. I probably could have framed it a bit better. That's not bad. Maybe we get rid of him with a vignette. De-emphasize them anyway. Yeah, that's not bad. We'll go with that.
I've said it many times, I know I would change my ways, I know for sure. When all the crows decide to meet, they settle down beneath my feet. I've got it right and I got it wrong, but I learned my lesson hanging on. Come sit here with me by the fire and let it go for a little while. So be here as the night starts falling. Let my fingers walk over your head. We got nothing to be scared of. I'd rather be with you than by myself. Now all is in your hands. When I was young, I thought control would lead me to an ending road, and heavy metal seemed to be the only thing that was for me. And I saw the angels coming down, and they sang a song and sang it loud. And I still remember parts of it, and the yellow glorious with it. Won't you be my guide and let me follow? Can I hold your hand for old time's sake? And all this time you waited for me. Little did we know, I guess it's fate. Now all is in our hands. All is in our hands. All is in our hands.
What I'm going to do now is do a selects. So select all down, and we got another collection, and we shall call this Street August Selects. Okay, so we're down to 84. Still way too many. That's way too many for a blog post. But what I will do is some of the verticals I will put into a single image, if that makes sense. Now, in an ideal world, you would go through and name each of these. I am not going to do that because that will take forever. So instead, I'm going to kind of give them a generic name and a generic caption, just for the purposes of when we post them to the web, it will be, it will help in Google image search and so on, and things like that. This one. So we want to we'll start by the title. Okay, and we'll call it August 2017. And no, we don't want Sibian. I don't know where that came from. Dublin Street Photography. So I'm going to hit append, and that will now, on our title, everything should be, oh, of course I can't see that because this is open, and change our caption. Okay, I'm gonna maybe call it something else, which is called the Street Photography Home City, Ireland, August 2017. 15, and then say something like, we can append this first, so we can append this, that will apply that to everything, and now we can put something else on and it will add it to the end of it. So I'm going to say and we want the line break. Again, you can kind of do anything here. I'm not really putting much effort into this. It's just so that there's something there when you upload them. Ideally, you would need to go through them all, do them one by one, but this is it's a good start. Okay, and then the other thing we want to do is keywords. Ireland. Street photography, street. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so now that we've done that, I can export them further to the blog. So, but before I do that, I'm going to do one last thing, and that is I'm going to make another. I'm going to make another collection for all the vertical shots, and you'll see why now in a second. Okay, so we'll go create collection. Verticals. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this first. I'm going to select everything, and even though I'm going to do the vertical slightly different, I'm just going to export them on. And I have a preset set up for this, which puts my signature onto it. Create. Okay, and set them exporting. Now, what is going on here? Okay, I was wondering why we weren't getting the status bar. So while that's doing that, I'm going to go over to the print module. So what I like to do when I have vertical shots is, because of the way my blog layout is, I like to have put two together, because otherwise it just, you end up with a huge big image for verticals, and I don't like that. So I already have a template set up here, and what we do is we just pick our two images that we want to use. And in this case we want to go, well, first of all we need to deselect them. So we want this one, and I'm going to go with this one. Okay, and then we just go print a file. I'm just going to put in a okay, and then we go select our next pair. So I want this one and say this one. Or would it be this one be better? No. No, we'll go with that one. This is not great, but it'll do. Let me just rename that O2. Okay, and next set, kind of a logical pairing. Okay, and then these two. I wasn't going to use these, but actually I like this as a pair, actually fun. This takes a while to catch up, so don't worry about it. It's actually doing it. And then, oh, we missed these two. I wonder. I think that actually works better. I don't know what number I'm on now. I'm just going to call it 6, just in case. Okay, and then we have 2 left. I really want to use this one. Maybe, but yeah, we got that. I might not use it, but okay, so that's pretty much it. Once that's exported, then that's they're all done, and I can go ahead and post them to my blog. I need to write the blog post to go with it, of course. But yeah, so that's pretty much how I edit from start to finish. That's the entire process. Again, if anybody has stuck with this to the very end, fair play to you. And yeah, leave a comment, let me know if you have managed to do so. And thank you very much. And thank you everybody who has managed to stay through this all the way, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And thanks a million.